When thinking through fear just doesn't work, here's what you have to do next. Hi, welcome to another episode of Business Mindset Mastery. My name's Heather Gray. I'm a mindset and performance coach for business owners, leaders, and entrepreneurs. You can always find me over at choosetohaveitall.com. And I have a little bit of a confession to make. The episode you're about to listen to is not the episode that I had planned for today. I have some poor listener's question sitting in my inbox that I had planned on responding to today. But I was talking to my husband last night about yesterday's podcast episode, How to Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And I was telling him that it felt like an immediate best of episode. I know that sounds super obnoxious, but I did leave the episode recording feeling really proud of myself and feeling like I connected on the message. And of course, I told them the story of leaving the Logan Airport bathroom sobbing, in December, and then what it felt like returning in April. And if you haven't listened to yesterday's episode, definitely give that a listen. It's just one episode back. And then he asked me, he's like, well, did you read your letter? And I was like, what do you mean? What did I read my letter? He's like, the letter to yourself that you wrote. Did you read it? And I said, no. And he was like, well, then you wasted people's time. You should have read that letter. It's really good and people need to hear it. So what letter are we talking about? Well, that means I need to let you in on a little bit of a skill set that I teach clients that I'm working with. So this is actually going to help you. You get some real-time coaching in the moment with your own mindset coach here. And basically what I try to help people do in moments of fear, when they're stuck in imposter syndrome, when they're feeling like they're incapable of doing something, or they're stuck in old stories of themselves, I tell them to go back and look at the last time they were afraid, what it felt like, how they moved through the world, and how did they get to the other side of it? Even if it didn't work out, even if they didn't have the happy shining ending like I was able to share with you yesterday, there's value in going back and reminding yourself that you were scared out of your mind. You were stuck in a fear of failure or rejection. You gave it your best shot. Your best shot didn't work, but you're still living to tell the tale. It didn't break you. It didn't end you. Your chapter didn't end. Your story didn't end. So one of the ways when I'm working with folks one-on-one, I like to encourage them to do this is at some point in time, I ask them to go back and write a letter to their younger selves, to go back with their wisdom and talk to the person who was stuck in fear. What have you learned? What have you thought about? What's the wisdom that you now know that you're on the other side of it, but you didn't know and you had no way of knowing before it? So I had written a letter to myself after the really kind of powerful weekend I had, and I had shared it with my husband. So when I told him about the episode, he just assumed that I had read you guys this letter. And when I was pushing back on the idea of reading it to you and telling him I thought I was really self-indulgent and that they already heard the story 2 or 3 times, he still thought there was value in it. And he's not in the mindset space. He doesn't like hearing about this stuff day in, day out. Poor guy's got married to a shrink and everything. But he thinks that sometimes people need to actually see someone else do it, not just hear someone talk about doing it in order to understand. So I'm going to take him up on his triple dog dare and I'm going to read the letter. If it doesn't have interest to you, if you feel like you kind of have the idea and the general gist of it, you get to stop listening now and move on to your next favorite podcast. And just go on about your day. But if you need to hear someone sort of do it and walk through the how, I am going to share my letter with you today on the off chance that somebody listening just might need to hear it. So here it goes, my letter to me. Heather, yep, it's me again, your older and wiser self coming back to tell you that it really is all going to be okay. Sure, you're a hot mess right now. You cry in public, you're fighting with your husband, and you can't sleep without a pill to knock you out. You keep saying that you feel like you're being gutted, and you're listening to that damn song on repeat. You're hoping it's making Damon just a little bit crazy. I promise you, it is. You keep thinking to yourself that you can't do this. You can't leave your people, that you are only you because of the strength you choose to surround yourself with. Of course you know your own strength. Of course you know you're capable. You just don't want to be strong. You don't want to be the capable one. You don't want to be the one to figure it out. You want to fall apart. And Heather, you lose control for just a little bit and you will fall apart. You'll be impossibly mean to your husband, and he'll take it on the chin. You'll split at the seams a little bit, and you'll feel like a fraud, and you won't even recognize yourself. It's okay, though. You're just feeling the natural consequence that comes with being all in with your life and all in with your people. You live a life all in, and of course, as you prepare to leave that behind, you're a leaky mess. I wish I could tell you it gets easier. Honey, you have more hard coming. You still haven't said goodbye to your best friends yet. You have to have your last play dates with your boys, and sweetie, wait for it. You're going to think you're saying goodbye to your parents. You're going to think your last goodbye is done. Careful, honey. Your folks are slippery fuckers, and they're going to pull a fast one on you. They're going to tell you that they aren't ready, that they're going to want to see you one more time before you head to the airport, and yes, you're going to have to say goodbye to your parents. Twice. And yes, you'll get through it, but it's not going to be pretty. You'll think you're prepared with a pack of tissues. Nope, your sweatshirt sleeve will serve as an additional backup. Then, Heather, there will be Logan Airport Day. You'll try hard to hold it together. You won't want your husband to feel like he's dragging you away. You'll do your best, but again, the flip side of loving will just get to you. You'll have mercy on Damon and head to the bathroom, and you'll promptly fall to your knees. I warned you, it wasn't going to be pretty. You'll feel like an artery is being severed, and you'll pray for the bleeding to stop. You'll text Ashley, and even though her heart is breaking too, she'll be perfect for you. She'll have the perfect response, and it'll get you off the floor. Heather, that right there will be your worst moment. I promise you, the worst moment will end. It doesn't keep going. You get off the floor. You let yourself laugh at the absurdity of you when you look in the mirror. And you'll say a prayer to your mom. And you'll get on with that damn plane. And yes, that's where it gets better. It won't take long for you to see that life just gets easier for you. The inn you reached out to before your stay will have shit Wi-Fi and will blow your work plans to hell, but they will take good care of you and keep you company. Right now, your big plan is just to skip Christmas, but Heather, a bakery with the best goddamn cinnamon buns will be open, and you'll walk in there with your pajamas on. You'll grab a coffee at the cafe, and you'll be greeted by the best dogs on the planet. The sun will be bright on the beach. It's not going to feel like Christmas, but it'll feel good. I promise. You survived the first holiday without your people. Your real estate agent will have your back, and she's going to show you your new neighborhood. Then she's going to lead you to your first house. Heather, you're going to know the second that you walk into it that it's yours. It's filled with crap, but you're not going to care. You'll see its potential. You will lovingly call it your Golden Girls house, and the name will stick even after you move in and the old stuff is removed. You'll confirm what you knew all along. You're not meant to be a weekend warrior. Damon will be the paraplegic carpet puller-upper, and you'll have an absurd tantrum or two, but compared to the agony of leaving, that floor will have nothing on you. You'll grab your business with both hands, and you'll be kicking ass, helping scared and broken people become a little less scared and a little less broken. Your story's going to help them. Heather, get ready too, because your marriage is going to get better. Not just repaired from months of fighting, but better. Better than it's ever been. Because Heather, you'll be off duty. Universal design will start to rule your life. There won't be snowstorms to manage around wheelchairs. Most places you want to get to will be easily accessible. You won't have to play the role of disability cop. There will be paved paths along the beach. Yes, that means you'll get to go back to the beaches you've been avoiding, and you won't have to feel guilty for leaving your husband behind. He'll come with you, and if he wants, there will be beach wheelchairs for him to explore the sand on and get closer to the water himself. Dare I say it, you'll feel like you're falling in love all over again. I'm not going to pretend everybody goes along with this swimmingly. Some friends you'll find just can't do distance. You'll hear the snark and you'll cut them a break because they'll get crap tons of snow for the entire winter. Some will get sad because they can hear you're happy despite the distance, but Heather, the people who matter will barely miss a day. You worked hard to build those relationships. That's why leaving wrecked you. Here's where you will see it was all worth it. You will have their backs and they will have yours. Distance, time zones be damned. You'll miss the kids the most, and you'll still feel guilty at times, but you'll know without a doubt that you are happier here. You won't be able to say worth it, but you'll be able to acknowledge that choosing you was the right choice, that choosing your marriage and the big picture really was worth it. The weight you've steadily been gaining will start to fall away, not magically. You'll be swearing at Sean T from Beachbody on the regular. You'll know that at some point it will be time to get back to boxing. You won't want to box without Anna for a while, and that's okay. Just do you. You'll have been brave enough. Then, Heather, in the middle of a crazy work week, you'll be making unexpected plans to return home to take care of your dad after Uncle Don passes. You'll be you, Heather. You'll drop everything and you'll show up. You're afraid you're going to lose that part of you. That distance will keep you from showing up for your people. Don't worry. You pack your bags without question. And Heather, get ready for it. Your plane will return you to the same gate you left from, across from the same bathroom. And yes, of course, you being you, you're going to lose it. You're going to have to pee, and you're going to have to you're going to have to use the damn bathroom. You'll message Clark and you'll blubber all about it, but then, Heather, you will see and be rewarded for all of that brave. You'll see why you had to go through that hard, and you will be swept up in pride. That's when you'll really see it, Heather, the point of it all. You'll know your strength and you'll own it. You know that it'll get hard again. You know that you'll be tested, but you also have this in your back pocket. The next time you think you can't, the next time you want to play small, ask yourself, is it as bad as the bathroom floor of an airport bathroom? If it's not, you have work to do, my friend, some asses to kick, and a difference to make. Your story is helping people, so much so that a woman you've never met will write to you with a cancer scare. Who you are matters. What you're doing matters. You tell the truth, and that matters. You'll exit their airport, and you'll celebrate the life you've built for yourself. You said yes when you wanted to scream no. You kept going when you wanted to quit. You were unapologetically real, and that will help other people find their own personal California. You had it in you all along. You didn't know it. You didn't believe it. But yes, you absolutely fucking had it. Yes, you are stronger because of your people, but here's what you forgot. They aren't holding your strength for you, Heather. You don't need to be near them to have it. You've been strong all along. Come back to this anytime you forget, lose your way, or get scared. You've got this. You always have. So, that's my letter to me. And God willing, this is the last time I cry on a podcast for a while. But this is what I want you to do with this. I want you to write your own letter. To go back to your younger self, go back to a time when you didn't think you could and you did, or go back and revisit an old failure and sit down and actually write the letter. Don't just think it through. I sometimes phone it in myself and think it through. And then when I do need to go back to it, I never remember it as it was. Even now, I wrote this letter, over the weekend, and I didn't remember some of the things I'd already written and shared. So I want you to do that for yourself, to take the time to go back and revisit an old hard time and tell yourself the lessons you learned. Remind yourself that you'll get to the other side of it. Share your wisdom. Tune into your wisdom and tune into your strength, because it doesn't work if we just keep sitting and talking about it, my friends. I can't talk you into confidence. I can't talk you into being brave. I can share on this podcast. I can cry on this podcast until the cows come home, but nothing is different until you do something different. So if sitting and talking about it isn't working, perhaps write it out. Put your story, your experience, your knowledge, and your wisdom to the test. Put it in action. Remind yourself of what you've come to know, all the hard-fought wins, all of the lessons, and ask yourself, is this really as bad as that last thing? Because I know for me, God willing, it's not going to get worse than the Logan Airport bathroom floor anytime soon. You've got this, and I've got your back. If you don't know what to do next, if you don't know how to move, then you need to get in touch with me and let me help. Clearly, I've been there. I've gone around the block a time or two. I've got the clinical experience, the education, the work experience, and the life experience to help you get out of your hole. I just can't do it until you reach out and give me a call. So find me over at heather@choosetohaveitall.com. If it's a quick question that you want my 2 cents on your podcast, on my podcast, definitely let me know. But if it's time to get to work, you gotta own it and get in touch with me, and let's get to work. I'm gonna talk to you next time, hopefully not crying, but hopefully with just as important a lesson for you to take on with your day. Thanks so much for listening to me today. Bye for now.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.